What about others? You can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can do.
Sir, can hear.
We are meeting, I think, after almost 1 month. Last week, we did tute number 3. I mean, the last week means the week we had the last discussion before the new year. Hope you can remember. And already we have done 3 tutes. We were in the last part of the tute number 3. Hope you can remember. And you know what we were going through was over the last few weeks, trying to understand the marketing management concept. I said there are 4 steps in the marketing management process. Hope you can remember these key 4 steps in the marketing management process. I said anyone who wants to manage the marketing process will have to ask 4 questions. Hope you remember those 4 questions that are involved in the marketing management process. Can we have some answers? 4 or 5 questions involved in the marketing management process. Hello. So what are the key steps? Key 5 steps in the marketing management process, as we learn, because this is very important for us to remember. Our entire subject is based on these these 5 steps that we have already discussed about. Hello. Can someone start giving the answers? What is the first step in the marketing management process? Asking what question? Yes, analysis. So what is the question that you ask when you want to analyze? මොකද පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ? අලෙවි කළමනාකරණේ පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ මොකද්ද? අපි අහන process එක ගැන කතා කරද්දී. Where are we now? Yes, where are we now? Very good. අපි කොහෙද ඉන්නේ? As a company or as a business, where are we now? What is the second question or the second step? What is the second question in the process that you need to ask? මොකක්ද ඊළඟ ප්‍රශ්නේ? අපි කොහෙද ඉන්නේ? Or where are we now? Then come on, quickly. You know the answer. This is very important because yes, objectives, perfect. Where we want to be. අපිට මොනවද? අපේ අරමුණු මොනවද? අපි මොනවද සාක්ෂාත් කරගන්න ඕන අරමුණු as a company එකක් විදිහට එහෙම නැත්නම් business එකක් විදිහට. So what is the third question? Or third step? What is the third step? The first question is, where are we now? Yes, brilliant. Which way? Because to get to the objectives, you have various options. So out of the many options that you have, you will select the best few options. Say, for example, you want to go to goal. Say, take a simple objective. Goal today before 12 o'clock. right? Now it's 9 o'clock. So what is the best way to get there? Can you go by walking, or can you go by motorcycle or three-wheeler, or by bus, or by a private vehicle? So there are many options, but depending on the resources that you have and the time duration within which you need to get to goal, maybe for a urgent meeting or something, or a wedding or something, right? Can you go by walking to goal before 12 o'clock today? Not possible. So that option is out. Like that, you will have to select the best option, and maybe depending on your resources and other factors. Okay. So having selected your or formulated your strategies, then comes what? Which way is the best? And then what is the next question that you will ask? Implementation. How do we? What? Yeah. So there are options to go to goal, as I said. Bus එක යන්න පුළුවන්, private vehicle යන්න පුළුවන්, bicycle එක යන්න පුළුවන්, car ඇවිදගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. So you select the most appropriate option, even for a simple work, a simple transaction, or even for a business purpose or a company's purpose. All depend on your resources, and then a person who has resources can go by a helicopter as well, right? If you have more resources, so it's another option, but maybe expensive option, but you can very conveniently get to goal if you use a chopper or something. Right. So what is the best? What is the best way, and what option do you use? How do we get there? Then the final question, control part. Super. Control part is ensuring arrival. How to ensure arrival? So how do you make sure that? Because say you have 3 hours to get to goal, and every hour you monitor and review whether you are reaching the destination. So say within next 1 hour, if you are covered half of the distance to goal from Colombo, then you are sure that you don't have to worry, because you have another 2 hours to get to goal. So reviewing is very important, and controlling your actions is very crucial to make sure that you ensure arrival. So if you are not even started till 11 o'clock to go to goal, then your chances of getting to goal before 12 is very minimal, because within 1 hour getting to goal will be difficult. So then achieving your objective will be difficult. So what you will have to do is periodically monitor your actions and correct them if necessary, in order to achieve your final objective. Maybe you have only 1 hour to get to goal, then you have no other option. Maybe use a private vehicle and get there as soon as possible, which may be expensive than a normal course of action that should have taken about 3 hours before. So depending on the urgency, also your strategies, your strategic options can vary. Right? දැන් අපි ආයතනයක් ගත්තොත් ආයතනයේ හිතමු අපිට strategy we need to increase the say lending base or lending portfolio. That's an objective. Then you are selected to use say more business loans. At the same time, ඕනනම් අපිට පුළුවන් business loans විතරක් නෙමෙයි අනිත් lending products උත් push කරන්න. අපිට හිතමු housing loans push කරන්න පුළුවන්, personal loans push කරන්න පුළුවන්, development loans push කරන්න පුළුවන්. But for that you must have a lot of resources and a lot of programs. But you can do it. So you can use one option or several options depending on your capacity, resources, and the amount of money that you are able to spend on achieving the particular strategy. Right. So good. So those are the 5 steps involved in the marketing management process. So let me get to the last tune which we discussed last time when we met. That is on the 27th of March, the last time when we met. So we continued the marketing management process and we were discussing about the competition and competitive analysis. We said it's very important to identify the competitors and assess their objectives, strategies, strengths and weaknesses, and reaction patterns, and selecting which competitors to attack or avoid. We are not operating in a isolated environment in the marketplace. There are many competitors. So there are so many banks, so many non-banking financial institutions. So we are amidst very severe competition. So to be marketing oriented, you remember we were saying you need to know your competitors very well, their actions, their strategies and so on. So in the analysis, during the analysis in your marketing management process, you will be looking at the competition as well. So what are the other things that we discuss during this analysis? We discuss about the micro aspects or micro factors that are affecting the marketing management process or the performance of the company. What are the micro factors? Micro factors are the factors that are immediately around your organization, affecting your business performance. Your suppliers, your customers, your competitors, your agents, and various middlemen, the government, various groups that are involved and active in your society. So all those are factors that influence the performance of the organization. Now think of the current situation. Now there are a lot of pressure groups in the country. They are affecting the government administration in a big way. Don't you think so? So these are now say Aragale at Goldface is a social group or pressure group activity. There are many other groups like if you take the government as an organization, see how disruptive these pressure groups are. I'm not saying that they are disrupting for no reason. There's a reason for them to disrupt the government because the government is not managed well. But you can imagine these micro factors like social group influences can impact a government and also can impact a company or organization for that matter. You understand? So it's not only the competition that can impact your organization's business performance. There may be various groups as well that can impact the performance of your organization. Now, you know, the performance of the government is now at a standstill. Why? Because the pressure from the social or the society out there is very, very high. They are against the government. Right? So as a result, the government has not been able to move anything. Forget about the other political and other economic and all other factors, but just because of the pressure from from various groups within the macro or the micro environment, the performance has been impacted. All right, and so we discussed about the identification of competition. Firms face a wide range of competition, but you have to be careful to avoid competitor myopia. Methods of competing, identifying competitors, also we discuss. And you learn this word called competitive myopia. One of the most common hazards of conventional competitive intelligence, because competitive myopia is defined as a focus on a competitor or rival that is so intense that it causes distraction from the larger strategic threats or opportunities. Now, look at even look at the current situation is a good example, because actually for the government the social groups may not be competition, but they have a myopic view, that is they don't understand the larger public view that are against them. But without understanding the larger opposition out there in the marketplace or in the society, the government is taking some steps which are not at all sustainable. This can happen to a company also, because they don't understand the large picture and they do some patchwork internally which are not at all going to be sustainable for the future of the organization. So the competitive myopia is not being able to understand the larger picture or larger threats coming from the competition. Instead, the company is only looking at very narrow-minded aspects of the competition. What will happen is, when you have a less focus on the larger picture, you will lose the intensity of the impact or the opposition or the negative influence that will affect your company's long-term journey. Your company will not be sustainable and will not be able to continue successfully if you don't understand this competition in the larger perspective. A company must determine competitors' objectives, identify their strengths and strategies, Assessing competitors' strengths and weaknesses. Yes, benchmarking, we discussed about that. And be mindful about the competitor reactions. The benchmarking is the process that we discuss of comparing one's business processes and performance metrics to industry best or best practices from other industries. Dimensions typically measured are quality, time, and cost in the process of best practice benchmarking. So what is that? So you can benchmark your company against another top player in terms of quality, time, and their cost, and so on. Right? Say if you compare your bank as against another bank in terms of their service quality, their product quality, and you can benchmark. Actually, benchmarking is a way to compare yourself with the best player in the market or in the industry. So what is the advantage of benchmarking? Then you can learn from the competition, learn from the best or top players in the industry, and as a result, your company will be able to improve your performance and improve the quality of your performance, quality of your offerings, and so on. And also like cost. The cost effectiveness can be improved because your competitors' cost efficiency is far better than you. Then you can learn from the the best player in the market, and take actions or make various changes that are necessary to be cost effective. You remember we went through some cost income ratios of several banks, comparing each bank's cost to income ratio. Hope you can remember. So this last sentence is important. Benchmarking may be one-off event, but it is often treated as a continuous process in which organizations continually seek to improve their practices. So benchmarking is not a one-off, cannot be treated as a one-off event. You need to continually use it so that your continuous improvement can be achieved. Right. So these are the things that we looked at, and we looked at competitor analysis or designing a competitive intelligence system. We went through that. And another term that we learned was competitive advantage. An advantage over competitors gained by offering consumers greater value and satisfaction than competitors offer. Now, how do you achieve your competitive advantage over others? So that's by using various tactics that we discussed earlier. But if you define competitive advantage, it goes as an advantage over competitors gained by offering consumers greater value and satisfaction than competitors offer. So if you can offer a greater value and satisfaction to your customers in terms of banking services, then you can achieve the competitive advantage over the other players. And according to Michael Porter, there are we discussed there are certain options available to achieve competitive advantage. So he said cost leadership is one, and differentiation is another. And then he said there's cost focus approach and differentiation focus approach. Hope you remember these options that were discussed as Michael Porter's competitive theories. So the Michael Porter in his framework of competitive strategies, talking about sources of competitive advantage in one side, the other side, the scope of the market, a narrow market, a broader market, I mean a smaller market or bigger market, and other two sources is it cost and differentiation. Right. So cost leadership is to ensure your cost is less than your competitor's cost. So you are, by doing that, you can become the cost leader. The differentiation is to ensure that you are different from your competitors. How are you different from your competitors? Because you offer something different and something of value than your competition. You can be different, but same time your differentiation should be meaningful to the customer. Just being different is not enough, but you should be able to provide some meaningful advantage, meaningful benefit to the customer than the competition. That is how you differentiate. So broader market is, according to Porter's identification, serving a diverse market, mean more complex market or large market. Narrow market is focused on a niche market, maybe smaller market than or less bigger than or much less in size than a broader market. So we discuss about cost leadership strategy and cost leadership examples. You can run through your tudes, differentiation strategy examples, and cost focus approach, and what happened? One moment. Just something went wrong in this. Give me a moment. It may be an internet or network error. Okay. Some slides are not not clear. Okay, you have your own tunes, I believe. Let me something has gone wrong in the tute. I can't present it. It doesn't show. Tute number 4 is there. There are some other tutes that are. Hello. Yes. Shall we take let me check with the center. We'll take 10 minutes break, please, until I get this technical thing corrected. Yeah. Can you please take a 10 minutes break? Hello?
Sure, sir.
Okay. Sorry about the delay. There was a technical issue there. We are back. Right. So we are talking about this Michael Porter's competitive strategies. I said there are approaches given by him, such as cost leadership, differentiation, and also cost focus and differentiation focus. And we had discussed uh, last the few weeks before the details of these approaches, and I have given examples, and I can run through the tunes. And for each business level strategy, examples were given. And then we also discussed another competitive strategy developed by Trichy and VSMR. It's called Trichy and VSMR Basic Competitive Strategies or Value Principles. He said companies can be operationally excellent is one approach, and or they can become customer intimate, which we call customer intimacy approach, and or they can look at product leadership approach to achieve competitive advantage. Now we discuss all these three options of the value disciplines of the three disciplines that was developed by Trichy and VSMR. So operational excellence means you have a lean and efficient organization, low price, and more convenient systems and processes to the customers. Customer intimacy is having very close relationship with the customer, which called customer intimacy. And product leadership is where innovative products and use more creativity to differentiate your products from the competition. So some examples, Walmart is an example for operationally excellent companies. Samsung is a product leader and more innovative product leader. And Accenture is a management consultancy company, which is an example for customer intimacy approach. I hope these things have been explained adequately, and you can run through the tunes to understand better. And then we discuss there are different market or competitive positions that a company can pursue. One is the market leadership, And the other one is as market challenger. The company can pursue to become more competitive, or as market follower. Or the final one is market niche. I asked you to run through the tudes where you have the details of each and every strategy given there. And then we looked at the business mission, how clearly the organization's mission statement is stated, and how realistic the mission statement is. To what extent it is consistent and compatible with the corporate and marketing objectives. What is mission and vision, which was again explained last during the discussion. Do the corporate and marketing objectives provide clear guidelines for marketing planning and control? Are these objectives consistent with the organization's position, capabilities, and opportunities? Are the objectives for each business unit clearly stated, realistic, and consistent with the overall marketing objectives? And the questions that we asked with regard to marketing strategy was discussed, and then marketing functions audit, product, and also we looked at under that the BCG matrix. Hope you remember. That is where you classify your product portfolio into 4 quadrants, which we called star, question marks, cash cows, and dogs. So Boston Consultancy Group developed this matrix, and 2 variables they considered was relative market share from one side and the market growth rate on the other side. So when there is high relative market share and high market growth rate for certain products, those products are categorized under stars. The products where there is market growth, but the market share, relative market share is low, but were treated as question marks. And product which has high relative market share and low growth rate was classified as cash cows, and dogs are the product that will have low relative market share as well as low growth rate. And strategies for each quadrant were also discussed, but according to BCG metrics, there are 4 strategies that are proposed. There, it says the question marks product will have to be built. Question marks products are the products that require a lot of attention, because right now we don't know where they are heading. That's why we call them question marks, because their future is questionable. With various actions, you should be able to either create a success for the product, or the product will continuously fail. But remember, the question marks products are generally the products that can be recently launched, because still their future is unknown. And another strategy that was proposed in the BCG was the holding strategy. That was more suitable for cash cow, because cash cows giving a continuous sustainable cash flow, and as a result you need to keep holding and preserving that revenue, protect, you have to safeguard the cash cows because because they are giving a continuous income to the organization. We took some examples like pawning, housing, and so on. Mature products that are giving continuous stable cash flows to the banks or to the financial institutions, and they are treated as cash cows. Another strategy that was discussed under BCG was harvesting strategy, which is suitable for weak cash cows or question marks or dogs, because harvesting is where you maintain a product for a short-term period because it's anyway going to or not going to give you a continuous revenue. It's not going to give you continuous and stable revenue because there's some weakness in the product. Divesting is a selling or liquidation approach for a product or a business unit, ideal for dogs and question marks. So you need to kindly understand, you should be able to draw the BCG metrics. You should be able to classify your products under these 4 areas, and for each and every quadrant, what type of strategies are required. Also, you need to be aware to answer the exam level questions. So finally, the question mark products, according to BCG, should be converted to stars over a period of time. Because I said question marks products are relatively recent products in your portfolio, and they should be converted to, action should be taken to convert your question mark, some of the question mark products to stars, and star products will eventually become cash cows, and cash flows from cash cows can be invested to promote more and more or refine more and more question marks products. If you follow this dotted and straight arrows, red arrows, you can see the cash flow movement or the desired movement. Another concept we discuss, which is known as product life cycle. Product is a new product is developed and it is introduced to the market, and there's a growing time, there's a maturity period, and generally a product is decline after a certain period of time. It's like why we call life cycle, because it's like life cycle of a human beings. Humans are born, grow, mature, and die. So product also the same story. And with regard to the profit from products, at the introduction level, the product doesn't make any profit. It may be lost because there's a product development cost and initial and other preliminary costs that are there. But as the product grows and mature, there can be profits generated from the product, each and every product. And certain products will continuously provide sustainable profits for a longer period of time. And some products will have a short life cycle. They are grown They will have a growth stage and quickly mature and decline also. So depending on the product, the life cycle may be shorter or longer. But there are certain strategies adopted by companies or the manufacturers when certain products are becoming or achieving maturity. The products can be relaunched. New life can be given to certain products. Example now, like if you take Unilever, some products, you find there are different versions, the new Lux and new Rexona. So those are examples of relaunching the products with because the says Rexona or Lux had been quite a number of years in the market, long years, and they felt the sales levels are not improving, stagnated, or rather, and what they did was they added certain features, changed the ingredients, changed the packaging, changed the marketing communication aspects, and with all that, they gave a new life to the maturing products and able to improve their sales levels with the new kind of offerings. Then we discuss about the pricing and distribution, sales force. These questions were asked, and advertising and promotions, how effective they are, and also then looked at various functions, functional audit, then marketing systems audit. You can read on. We looked at information systems, planning systems, control systems, and among them one concept that we discussed was the value chain model. You remember the value chain model is used to assess your value delivery process. I said for a manufacturing organization, inbound logistics are the raw material and they are processed and made to finished products, and marketing and sales are key functions in or in the sales area, and then after sales service. And these 5 actions were known as, or 5 activities are known as primary activities. And in the value chain analysis, there are 4 support activities that are taken into consideration. The firm's infrastructure, we gave the details of what firm's infrastructure is, and then human resource aspects, technology aspect, and procurement aspects. So this value chain analysis also a concept developed by the well-known Michael Porter, the professor at Harvard, and this is called Porter's actually value chain model. So remember there are 9 activities that are in the analysis. But each and every activity can be analyzed to ensure, analyze and improve to ensure good quality or superior value delivery to the customer. Right, then we continue to explain the components of the value chain model, and I said value chain model can be used for banks as well, not only for manufacturing but also service companies. Also, the value chain model can be developed or can be applied. And then we went in to discuss the marketing information aspects. We discussed about marketing information system, called MKIS. Then we discussed the components of the marketing information system. Said the marketing information system is consisting of 4 aspects. One is the internal database, information analysis, marketing research, and marketing intelligence. Actually, the databases, marketing intelligence, and marketing research are obtained from the various exercises and collecting various data and information internally and externally. And information analysis is something done internally to make use of this data that was collected, and after analyzing them, the information can be distributed among the managers for various decision making. So internal records provide reliable internal inside information of the company. Remember, now we as banks have a lot of internal records. The marketing intelligence is a collecting of information from the external sources, mainly with regard to competition and so on, and the market information. Marketing research is used to solve a specific marketing problem of the company. The marketing information analysis is the tools which help marketing managers to analyze data and take better marketing decisions. Then developing marketing information, right? So what is marketing information? Marketing information is the information that are required and that need to be used to better perform your marketing activities. So internal data is gathered where customer databases, financial records, and operations report. Advantages include quick, easy access to information. Disadvantages stem from the incompleteness or inappropriateness of data to particular situation. Internal data is, now if you take bank, there are a lot of internal data of our client base. There are demographic information, there are other biodata, and there are income, and there are spending patterns, the behavioral data. All that can be collected because this internal data of our customer base will be very useful for our marketing decisions. The marketing intelligence is the systematic collection and analysis of publicly available information about competitors and trends in the marketing environment. Competitive intelligence gathering activities have grown dramatically over the years. There are many sources of competitive intelligence or competitive information exist. So what are the sources of these intelligence or competitive intelligence? The company employees, internet, garbage, publish information, competitors, employees, trade shows, benchmarking, channel members. And so these are the sources of marketing or competitive intelligence. Then let's look at the marketing research, which now remember all these are components of the marketing information system. So marketing research is the systematic design, collection, analysis, and reporting of data relevant to a specific marketing situation facing an organization. Marketing research is the systematic design, collection, analysis, and reporting of data relevant to a specific marketing situation. So let's look at the research process. Marketing research is the systematic gathering, recording, and analyzing of data about problems relating to the marketing of goods and services. Marketing research will give you the data you need to identify and reach your target market at a price customers are willing to pay. So market research will give you the data you need to identify and reach your target market at a price customers are willing to pay. What does that mean? Because if you don't have the market research, you will not be able to set an appropriate price to your customer base. Because as I said, for various marketing decisions, marketing research data will be very useful. Marketing research focuses on and organizes marketing information. It permits entrepreneurs to spot current and upcoming problems in the current market, reduce business risks, identify sales opportunities, develop plans of action. Successful marketing requires timely and relevant marketing information. An inexpensive research program based on questionnaires given to current or prospective customers can uncover dissatisfaction or possible new products or services. Getting a feedback, your market research will be definitely useful to identify your customer needs and wants. If you go to the definition of marketing, it says, what does it say? Marketing is a management process that identifies, anticipates, and satisfies customer needs in a profitable, efficient, and socially acceptable manner. So, in order to satisfy your customer needs, you need to identify your customer needs very carefully. So marketing research is therefore very much integral part of your marketing management, because it will help you to identify your customer needs better. Marketing research is not a perfect science. It deals with people and they are constantly changing feeling and behaviors, which are influenced by countless subjective factors. To conduct marketing research, you must gather facts and opinions in an orderly, objective way to find what people want to buy, not just what you want to sell. I said if you have a selling approach, you always want to sell something which may be not needed by the customer. But in marketing, first you need to do is what people want to buy, and you must try to sell what they want. But trying to sell what you have without knowing whether they really want your product is a short-term, short-sighted selling approach, which will not again be sustainable. So difference between marketing and selling is that selling is you try to hard sell a product that may or may not be needed by the customer. But marketing is where you identify the customer needs and what customer wants and provide or sell the particular product to the customer, through which you achieve the customer satisfaction. When you have a selling approach, there is no guarantee that you achieve the customer satisfaction. You may or may not have achieve customer satisfaction. Market research will identify trends that affect sales and profitability, population shifts, legal developments. The local economic situation should be monitored to quickly identify problems and opportunities. Keeping up with competitors' market strategies also is important. So all these can be satisfied through marketing research. Every small business owner must ask the following questions to devise effective marketing strategies. Who are my customers and potential customers? What kind of people are they? Where do they live? Can and will they buy my products? So these are useful for our business as well, not only for small business. We should know our customers and we should know where they are and what kind of means, what is their behavior patterns, and so on. Am I offering the kinds of goods or services they want at the best place, at the best time, and in the right amounts? Are my prices consistent with buyers' view as the product's value? Are my promotional programs working? What do customers think of my business? How does my business compare with my competitors? So these are the questions that can be asked prior to market research. So let's look at marketing research process. The first step in the research process is defining the problem and research objective. Say your problem is, say you have a poor customer service and customers are complaining your services levels have dropped. So that can be the problem that you want to research. And research objectives may be to identify causes for the problem and provide solutions. So then the second step would be developing the research plan for collecting information. So to do the research, you need to develop the research plan, and collect information. Then implementing the research plan, collecting and analyzing the data, and finally interpreting and reporting the findings. So remember these 4 steps in the research process, starting from defining the problem to developing the research plan and implementing the research and interpreting the findings. The most common research instrument is the questionnaire. Keep these steps in mind when designing your market research questionnaire. Keep it simple. The questions should be simple. Include instructions for answering all questions. Begin the survey with general questions and more towards more specific questions. Design a questionnaire that is graphically pleasing and easy to read. The most common research instrument is the questionnaire, which you are familiar with. Because what you can do is once you prepare a questionnaire according to these guidelines, then you can divide it among the target sample set of customers and get their feedback. Before printing the survey, ask people to complete the survey and give feedback. Mix the form of questions for different sections of the questionnaire. Scales ranking, open-ended questions, close-ended. Open-ended questions mean where you ask the customers why do you think, what do you think, and so on. Where you have asked the customer to give a open comment. But close-ended questions are mostly for the customer to say yes or no, agree or disagree, like that. They are close-ended, which will have no explanation. But open-ended questions will have explanation from the customer or suggestions from the customer and observations of the customer with regard to a certain issue. The form or way a question is asked may influence the answer given. Question is in two forms, closed-ended, open-end questions. Type of close-ended questions, yes, as it include multiple choice and yes or no. Scales refer to questions that ask respondents to rank their answers or measure their answer at a particular point on a scale. For example, a respondent may have the choice to rank his or her feelings towards a particular statement. The scale may range from strongly disagree to disagree, indifferent, agree, and strongly agree. So this is how you put the answers on a scale. Right. The importance of this research questionnaire is that you might have to use that in the project report, which comes in the final stage of the program. So you will have to be familiar with this type of questionnaire, how to develop a questionnaire to get certain feedback from the customer. So if you have questions, you can raise that during the discussion. We'll take a break before we getting into tute number 4. Now time is 10:30, so we'll meet at 10:45. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Hello? Right.
Okay, sir.
Are you all okay?
Yes, sir.
Now we have completed tute number 3, and we'll get into the tute number 4, which has already been circulated with you. This is about the custom analysis. Now, as I said, now we have been still doing the analysis component of the management process. Now we just finished the competitor analysis and the market research area, and now we are looking at the customer analysis and customer behavior analysis or consumer behavior analysis. Right. So tell me up to now, we are still in the analysis stage of the program, and so can you tell me what are the steps involved in the marketing research process? We just discussed now a little while ago. Can you have some answers? What are the steps involved in the marketing research process? Hello? Can we have some answers? I just want to know whether you are alive or sleeping. මොනවද marketing research වල process එකේ steps 4 මොනවද? What is the first step? Can someone start? Defining the problem. Very good. Defining the problem. Jamal, yes. Thank you for that. Then, what is the second step? This is very important in your exam. That's why I'm asking. You must at least know the 4 steps. Developing the research plan. Yes. Chaitani, yes. ඊළඟ step එක මොකක්ද? Third step එක. Data collection. Yes. Okay. ඊට පස්සේ collecting data and data analysis. Yes. That is the implementation part of the research. Yes. Then what? Then the last part. Yeah, reporting. Okay, reporting. Can you explain? Report the findings. Yes. And that will be used by the management to make various marketing decisions. Good. Then tell me what are the components involved in the marketing information systems? I said there are 3 or 4 components in the marketing information system. There was a diagram also I showed. In order to have a good marketing information system, you must have those functions or those components within the MKIS. Right? So there are 4 components in the MKIS, in the marketing information system, which you call MKIS. Mohan, you are silent today.
Internal database.
Internal records, internal data. Yes, very good. Chaitanya,
Information
good?
analysis.
Good?
Information analysis.
Internal records, yes. And marketing
Marketing
intelligence, yes.
and marketing research.
What else? There are two more. What are the other components? There are three ways to get information. One is through internal records, and then marketing intelligence. What is the other one? We just discussed about it.
Marketing research.
Come on. Can someone tell all three? Internal data, marketing intelligence, what's the other one?
Marketing
It is
research.
very clear. It's in the diagram. Marketing intelligence, internal data. What is the other one? Hello? Quickly. Come on, quickly.
Marketing research.
Hello. Come on.
Marketing research.
I want another answer. What are the components? Yeah, Mohan, right. Marketing research. So those are the three ways to, or three sources of information: internal data, marketing intelligence, and marketing research. The information that you get from these three sources are then tabulated and analyzed, and that is called information process or information analysis. So those are the four components in the marketing information system: internal data, marketing intelligence, marketing research, and information analysis. So the information that are received through these three sources are analyzed and present to the management for marketing decisions. Right. Then quickly, we talk about the value chain model, Porter's value chain model. What are the 5 primary activities according to Michael Porter in the value chain model? I'm just asking only the names of those activities. I'm not asking you to explain, but just give the 5 activities which are called primary activities in the value chain model. Come on, guys, quickly. These are in the notes. Actually, I'm doing some inbound logistics, outbound logistics. Yes, operations. Yes, inbound is your input. Outbound is operation is the process. Outbound is the finished product, I said. Then what is the other? Marketing and yes, because once the products are manufactured or finished goods are made, you need to market it and do the selling part for marketing and sales. If you're in a manufacturing organization, yes, services, after sales service also important for the business to be continued. Say, for example, now if you take certain manufacturing companies like say Singer, they market and they do their sales, and they have a very good after sales service, because after sales service also is a part of value delivery process. Right. Then Porter said these are primary activities, but same time there are another set of activities that Porter said which are secondary, but they are very crucial for the performance or the value delivery of the company. And what are they? For the value chain to be succeeded, you need these secondary or support activities as well. So what are those support activities? There are four support activities that that Porter identified, which are very necessary for the value delivery process. Yes, Mohan. Firms, infrastructure. Yes. That's the building and the equipments and so on. Then yes, human resource management, because you need to run the organization, you need human resources. So recruiting them, hiring and motivating, developing. Yes, Laknath. The technology also, because we need to improve the process. You need to use technology in various levels, various types of technology to carry out the operations. Then what is the other one? So you said three, the procurement. Yes. Madhubhashan, yes. Procurement is the firm's ability to purchase the required equipments that are necessary for the operations, equipments and maybe working capital and all that is required for day-to-day operations. So there has to be separate division where required equipments and required resources are provided to the company to perform and deliver value as needed. Right. So then we'll look at another question. Right. We okay, in the product life cycle that that I explained to you, PLC. I said a product has a life cycle starting from a certain stage to another stage. It has a life cycle. So what are the 5 stages of the life cycle of a product according to PLC concept? PLC stand for product life cycle. So what are the 5 stages in the life cycle? Yeah, product development, starting from the product, you develop the product, like a life of a person, like a product is, a person is born, a child is born, then the product is launched to the market, development and launch, and the product will, yes, product will grow eventually and reach the next level, which we call what? Hello? Yes? Product will grow and mature. Yes. Product will mature, and what is the final stage? Yes, Jamal, yes. Decline. So hope you remember and you'll be able to draw the PLC and explain the product life cycle in your Right. Now I want you to give me an example of cash cows under BCG. Give me 2 examples of cash cows according to you in your bank, in your product. We look at your portfolio. Give just 2 examples for cash cows. You can give different answers, okay, but you can give the generic name of the particular product. 2 examples for cash cows, if you think. 2 examples of cash cows. It can be your analysis. Housing loan, yes, Gayani. Yeah. So you say in your bank, housing loan is a. So I agree with you because housing loan is a mature product. It's not a recently launched one. It's lasted 20 years. It has been in the product portfolio for all the banks. Housing loan is a one, and another one, pawning. Yes, yes. Okay. Then give me 2 examples of question marks. That is where you don't know the future of the product. Maybe product is recently launched, but still not showing a direction, proper direction. So we don't know whether the product will succeed, or you will have to delete the product as you go. Question marks products are the products which the future is still questionable, but with some investment and some refinement, you'll be able to make some changes, and then product can succeed. In your view, what products can be treated as question marks in your organization? Credit cards. Why you are saying questionable? Is it a question mark? I don't that much agree with you. Why you say, Mohan? Is a development loans question mark? Yeah, with that I agree to some extent because development loans, maybe there are no refinance lines and no support from the central bank. So development loan cannot move that much. So development loan will have to be at reasonable lower rates, and banks can't do that because, especially in the current context, it is very difficult to give at low rate. But leasing is why you say questionable. Don't look at the current crisis, because at the moment all the loans are in a difficult position. Don't look at the recent developments, because the interest rates going up in the market and leasing will be also expensive, and so on. If a bank credit card introduce if a bank credit card is introduced recently, of course we don't know, but if you take the real situation, all the banks have introduced credit card long years before. But maybe for a new bank it's a different story. But in Sri Lanka, all the banks have a long history about credit cards, and I still see credit card can be categorized as a more for cash cow if it is managed properly. But it's good good that you argue it that way. Yeah, for a new bank, yes, it can be a question. But for a new bank, everything can be question marks until they are established and sustained for a period of time. What are the dogs products in your banks? Give me some examples. Dogs products. What are the dogs products? Hello? Think of it. Give me two minutes. I'll come back. Yes, sorry. Examples for dogs product. Certificate of deposits. Yeah, CDs are, yes, already deleted, I think. No, we don't have CDs in the. Yeah, good answer. We already deleted it from the portfolio because there had been no demand, and yeah, good example. Anything else? Any other dogs which you think will have to be deleted from your product portfolio? No? Okay. Then give me some examples for stars. Stars products are maybe moderately maybe launch, maybe not very recently, maybe little established, and still the market is growing for them. and you already have a reasonable market share compared to the competition. Examples for star products. What do you think are the stars current online banking? Yeah. Good example, yes. Credit cards, yes. Personal loans, SEFT, yes. Is SEFT is a product? Is a service? Or are you SEFT is? Are you making any money through SEFT? Maybe it's a fee. Yeah, there's a fee income, but not too heavy. Okay, okay. It doesn't matter. It has a growth potential. Yes. Credit card, of course, will have a lot of potential in the years to come, in the months to come, with the current situation. Yeah, good. Then let me ask a few questions on the other side. Okay. Right. I think so. We'll stop the question at that point. Shall we get back to the next tute number 4, in regard to customer analysis? Right. Consumer buyer behavior refers to the buying behaviors of final consumers, individuals and households who buy goods and services for personal consumption. All of these final consumers combine to make up the consumers market. Understanding consumer behavior is very, very critical for marketers, because end of the day, you should know how they act or react to a particular product offering, because a consumer buying behavior can change from person to person. So, to understand, because understanding the customer requirements, understanding customer needs is very critical for the success of your marketing program. So how you define consumer buying behavior is, consumer buying behavior refers to the buying behavior of final consumers, individuals and household who buy goods and services for personal consumption. Consumer buying behavior is based on each and every individual. The people, why buying behavior of each person vary from the other, because each person is a different personality. So buying behavior comes out of each person through a mental process, because the person is exposed to various marketing and other information. They are called marketing and other stimuli. They hear about the products and they know the pricing and where they are distributed, promoted, and even other piece they are exposed to, like processes and physical evidence and people. And there are other economic and technology or pest factors and pestal factors, because market is consisting of or influenced by these factors, right? And then these stimuli or this information is processed in the customer's black box called buyer's black box. So buyer characteristics, buyer decision process are the things that are affecting the final consumer response. So depending on the characteristics and the decision process elements, the product choice or brand choice, the purchase timing or purchase amount will all be decided. Right? So for example, now you want to buy a, say, television, color television, then maybe you are influenced by your family and then you buy certain things. Your characteristics as individual person will also play a role there, but and then you are subject to that buyer decision process. You remember that that we discussed, I think, sometime before, the consumer buying process, from information need analysis to information search to evaluation of various alternatives and the purchase decision and post-purchase evaluation. That's called buyer decision process. And finally, the selection of the product or the brand and so on. So remember, the consumer before the consumer purchase decision, there are certain processes that are taking place inside the consumer's mind, which called buyer's black box. So these customer characteristics or buyer characteristics are influenced by these factors. The factors influence consumer buying behavior. The cultural factors or cultural factors include what? Include the background, the family, the school, the society the customer has been in, and cultural and social are almost connected to each other, because from your social background, your culture is defined. When we are living in a certain social background, that background's culture will be your culture, because you adapted in a certain society. That society's values and systems, values and admirations will influence your life as well. Then the personal factors like age and life cycle, in which level of which stage of the life cycle that you are in, your occupation, your job, your economic capabilities, your lifestyle, what type of person you are, the personality and self-concept are some of the factors that affect your personal decisions with regard to buying of certain products. The psychological, the motivation, your how motivated are you to buy a particular product, your perception about your feeling about the particular product, what you have learned about it, and your beliefs and attitude towards certain things will also impact your buying decision or buying behavior. So remember, the factors that influence broadly are cultural, social, personal, and psychological factors are the ones that impact a person's buying behavior. So let's explain each factors little detail. The culture, as I said, forms persons' wants and behavior. Subculture is groups with shared value systems. Social class societies, divisions who share values, interest, and behavior. You know, a person's culture is his or her background. I said the the the, the culture is basically the way things are in other words, say the culture is something that that make you a certain person, because it's how you have been brought up by your parents, your elders, your school. Everything will change your personality. So social factors also include almost connected to, and it's driving your culture, driving your cultural behavior. Personal factors, as I said, so age and stage of the life cycle, occupation, and so on. For psychological factors include motivation, perception, learning, and beliefs and attitudes of each person. A motive is a need that is sufficiently pressing to direct the person to seek satisfaction. A motive is a need that is sufficiently pressing to direct the person to seek satisfaction. Maslow ordered needs based on how pressing they are to the consumer. You know, uh, uh, with regard to motivation, there's a hierarchy of needs that was developed by Maslow. Is a useful model, a useful concept that can be used to understand the personal motivation. So Maslow said the people have different needs, and each need is satisfied, and then needs have hierarchy. When one need is satisfied, the person seeks to satisfy the next level of needs and next level of needs. That's why it's called hierarchy. Starting with, he said, people are first keen to satisfy their basic needs, that is food, drink, shelter, and so on, called physiological or physical needs, he said. And then having satisfied those physical needs, then they look at needs such as security needs, the stability, and so on. And then The next level is the social needs, belonging to a group, trust and acceptance. And then comes the next level. They look at status, responsibility, want to shoulder as responsibility. They need the prestige and reputation, respect from others, and they want to be more confident about themselves, and so on. Then comes the highest level of needs called self-actualization. The topmost level of the hierarchy under Maslow. So, according to Maslow, the physiological and safety needs are called basic needs. Then belongingness and esteem needs are called psychological needs, and self-actualization is also called self-fulfillment needs. And physiological needs, right, are one second. Yeah. Physiological needs are the basic needs. If you don't have these, you will die. Yeah, food, water, to breathe. These are basic needs. Then the safety needs is about your employment, health, and financial security, insurance, career advice, right? And love, belongingness level, next level of needs, friendship, family, belonging to a peer group, and so on. You know, Maslow's theory is very useful for us to understand each person's behavior patterns. Now, say now if you remember when you were a young person, say maybe just after school, you had anyway satisfied your physiological needs because your parents gave you food and water and other basic things. But that time what was your next level of needs? You want to find a job, don't you? Because you want to become stable after your education. When your education is over and you have the satisfaction of basic needs, but then you was seeking the financial stability. Then you join a company or you start working. Then what happens? Then you are looking at more you come to the level of having your belonging needs, like you want to have friends, you want to become part of certain groups, and you seek love, you want to start a family, and this is the time you are looking at getting married or having an affair or start having an affair and so on. The next level is once you become little stable and your love and belonging needs are satisfied, then you look at your esteem needs like positions, maybe some gradings in your career, some promotions and some status, in your career, and so on. Certain. So at the esteem level, you look at the positions, the titles of the job, or titles of the or designations, and so on. Because you need to become manager or senior manager or some senior or management person. Those are esteem needs. And then the final level is your self-actualization, and that time you have satisfied all your needs from physiological to esteem. Then that's the highest level a person can achieve. The perception. The perception is the process by which people select, organize, and interpret information. Now, your perception about a certain product is negative. What will happen? You will not buy that product. The perception is therefore a factor that influences your buying process. If you perceive a particular product is not suitable to you, or you don't like the product, you don't perceive it as appropriate for you, then that will affect your buying behavior, because you will not buy that. The learning describes changes in an individual's behavior arising from experience. Learning occurs through drives, internal stimulus that cause for action. Objects, stimuli, the objects that move or drive to motive. Cues, minor stimuli that affect responses. Reinforcement, feedback on action. So these are some of the factors that impact your buying behavior. Belief, a descriptive thought about the brand or service, may be based on real knowledge, opinion, and faith. Attitude towards a product. Describe a person's evaluation, feelings, and tendencies towards an object or idea. They are difficult to change. Attitudes are difficult to change, you know that, because attitudes are built over a period of time. Maybe attitude is based on your culture and your how you have been brought up, as I said. These are all things are deeply established in your personality. You know, in person's individual buying behavior, there are 4 types. One is the based on the involvement and the difference between each brand. If there's significant difference between each significant differences between brands, and you require high involvement in your decision making, it can be a complex buying behavior. What is high involvement? Because you need to devote time on deciding a certain decision making. Say, if you take example like when you're buying a car, a motor car, do you think say maybe different brands, and you devote a lot of time where you employ a high involvement, because it's a complex buying behavior. Because maybe if you have not bought a car earlier, and you have to understand the modalities of the particular vehicle, and the features, and you know, to study that. And from brand to brand, there can be differences, and all that you need to learn and understand. Low involvement is variety seeking buying behavior. Maybe buying toothpaste or buying detergent or buying biscuits or some food items, maybe not highly involved buying activity or low involvement. But there can be differences between brands. Next come to high involvement, but few differences between brands. Maybe when you're buying a house, maybe the difference between brands may be, or the types may be very less, very few, but because of the involvement of lot of assets, a lot of funds, lot of money, high value, you will have to have high involvement and careful. The habitual buying behavior is where you have low involvement and few differences between brands. So that things that you generally buy, like maybe some food items and regular, maybe some FMCG items, there's nothing, you habitually buy it. So no much involvement and no much differences between brands. Right, these are some examples. Complex buying is, like example is computer dishonest buying, say buying of carpeting. Habitual is like salt. Variety seeking example is biscuits or cookies, and so on. The buying decision process, I think we discussed this earlier also. This also to some extent influencing your buying behavior, because you have the need and you still want to research or search your information about each brand or each product, and then evaluate, because there are many options available, and then you make the purchase decision. And the post-purchase behavior is your feeling, whether you're satisfied or dissatisfied about the product or brand in the last stage of the buying decision process. And when you want to buy something, you know, you come to the second stage, information search. At information search, you have Kotler has said there's again the logical sequence, the total set, awareness set, consideration set, and choice set. You know, say you want to buy a television again. Say for example, sorry, you want to buy a personal computer, laptop, right? What is the total set? The total set means there may be many brands. There are Chinese, there are Korean, there are Taiwan, Japanese, American brands, many brands which we call total set. And next is the awareness set. So out of the total set, there may be certain brands you are not aware, you're not even heard, but they are in the market, but you are not aware. So out of that, you will select another set of brands which are made aware which are known to you. Say maybe you are known to say certain like so there may be total maybe 40-50 brands of laptops in the market, different brands. But out of that, you select 10 brands. 10 brands as your awareness. About 10 brands, you have awareness. And out of those 10 brands, you select 3 brands as your consideration set. So what is your consideration set? So there are 3 brands now you want to consider out of the awareness set. And you consider and then from that you filter another 2 brands as your choice set. And finally, you select one out of the 2 choices that you have finally come to. So that is how the sequence can come. Say total set is 50 brands, awareness set is 10, consideration set is another 3 brands, and from that you select 2, and final edition deciding 1. Okay, so like you have like a tunnel, like a funnel. You narrow down your choice from variety of brands that are there in the market. So let's take one example, importance, score and evaluation criteria for compensatory role. So you have 5 car brands. Now you have selected as your choice set, right? Mazda, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Hyundai. And for each, to make your decision more logical, you want to evaluate these four brands in terms of these criteria: the price, fuel economy, ride and handling, that means with the performance, the safety, and resale value. And for each criteria, you want to give a importance score. So price, you think the highest, sorry, the importance wise, you are given highest for safety. You want more safer, that depends on person to person, right? In this case, out of the 5 brands, you want to consider or evaluate. So you have 5 evaluate and it can be more criteria than this, but in this case you have 5. Safety is the number 1, price is number. The next importance, the fuel economy is the 3rd, ride and handling, the performance is the 2nd or the 4th, resale value 5th. So your mark or given importance score to each and every criteria, right? So let's take Mazda, and we want to calculate the final score. To calculate final score, what you do is you give marks under each evaluation, and importance you multiply it by importance score, and the final will be the total of multiplication of importance into each criteria. So let's see, take Mazda. You are given 5 marks for price. That means highest marks because Mazda the price is low, and full economy wise you are given 3 marks, ride and handling you are given 5, safety 3, and resale value 1. And Honda and Toyota you are given both 3 marks in terms of price. Full economy you are given more marks to Toyota. Ride and handling same marks for both Honda Toyota. Safety wise you are given more to Toyota. Resale value you are given more marks to Honda. Out of Nissan and Hyundai, price you are given low marks to Hyundai. Fuel economy again low marks to Hyundai. Ride and handling high marks for Hyundai. Safety high marks for Hyundai. And resale value low marks for Hyundai. Now let's see now all the marks was given based on criteria. Let's look at the importance. Now say Mazda you have price you have given 5, sorry 5, the 4 into 5, and then fuel economy 3 into 3, then importance 2 into 5, and safety 5 into 3, and resale value 1 into 1. The total marks for Mazda is 55. Like you calculate for all the other products or all the other brands, Honda has got 52 marks, the total score. Toyota 58 marks, Nissan 50 marks, Hyundai 53 marks. According to the compensatory rule or the based on marks, Toyota is the best choice because highest marks have been received by Toyota brand. In terms of these criteria and in terms of these importance scores. You understand? So try to understand how the marks have been, total marks have been given, and how the finally, logically, decision has been made. So by addition process, as I said, from need recognition to post-purchase buying behavior. So how do you feel the need recognition? Needs can be triggered by internal stimuli. Normal needs become strong enough to drive behavior. External stimuli, advertisements, friends of friends. You know, how do you feel a need? Say to buy a personal computer, you have internal stimuli and external stimuli. Actually, when you will feel when there's a need because you want something at home to attend to your day-to-day maybe personal requirements. So you need a personal computer or desktop or a laptop. And externally, also sometimes your friends and certain advertisements you have seen have influenced you to buy a personal computer. That's how the needs are recognized. So now you are feeling a need. The need has been created through internal stimuli. That is uh, your your personal requirement. At the same time, it is supported by external stimuli. Then the information search, how do you do it? Consumers exhibit heightened attention or actively search for information, because now since you have a need and you want to buy a computer, a personal computer, then you start finding information about the product. So maybe through personal sources, through commercial sources like advertisements and internet and so on, and public method and experiential, if you have already used some sort of brands, and word of mouth, what other people say about certain brands, all that you take into account. Evaluation of alternatives. Evaluate procedure like we did in the last question, last slide. Evaluation procedure depend on the consumer and the buying situation. Most buyers evaluate multiple attributes, each of which is weighted differently. At the end of the evaluation stage, purchase attention is or intentions are formed. So you are aware that there's a logical process of how you evaluate based on certain attributes and certain criteria of each product. For anything that you buy, you can develop some criteria to evaluate and give importance scores or importance weightage to each and every criteria, which can be logically decided based on this criteria and importance scores. So on the evaluation criteria only, you look at this total set. Yes. Then the same example, then purchase decision. Two factors intercede between purchase intentions and actual decision. Attitude of others, unexpected situation factors. Even you have decided based on your evaluation, still there can be barriers. Some people might say, don't go and buy it. You have decided to buy Toyota, but another person might say, don't buy Toyota, why don't you buy a Honda or something like that. So because that another person has attitude towards a certain product can also affect your purchase decision. An unexpected situational factor. Suddenly you find some reason for you not to buy or not to pursue your purchase decision. Purchase behavior. Satisfaction is important. Once you buy, delighted consumers engage in positive word of mouth. Unhappy customers tell on average 11 other people. It costs more to attract a new customer than it does to retain an existing customer. So that you know, satisfaction is important. So the buyer process, remember your customer satisfaction is crucial. If you can make delight customers or delighted customers, they will create word of mouth. But if you create an unhappy customer, he or she will go and tell many people about his or her negative experience with your brand. So it costs more to attract new customer than it does to retain an existing customer that you are aware. And also in looking at buying behavior, you sometimes, individuals' buying behavior can be influenced by the family members too, which we call family buying unit or family buying roles. Your family is a buying unit, and in that unit there are different roles played by different members of the family. Say a certain family want to buy a hi-fi or what do you call stereo set or sound set or hi-fi set, the music system. Who the initiator, the family member who first recognizes the need to start the purchase process. Maybe a young boy or girl in the family wants to initiate the purchase of home theater system, or which includes maybe television as well as the sound. Influencer, the person who influenced the alternatives evaluated. Maybe in the family, maybe the elder brother or sister can influence the initiator, the younger member who has said will buy a home theater system. Decided, the person in the family who makes the final decision. Maybe the father will make the decision. He becomes the decider in the family unit. The purchaser, the family member who actually purchased the product, maybe again the father. User, the ultimate consumer of the product, maybe the children, younger and older, are the ultimate user. For any product that is bought, most of the product, maybe high value products that are bought in the family, gone through the family buying unit, and in the buying process, there are different roles played by each or different members of the family. Remember that. It is called family buying roles or family purchase roles. Who make the decisions at home? Women makes more. So maybe in certain products, men and women decide, maybe father and mother. Result based on responses to questions on choosing shared weekend activities, buying things for the home, deciding what to watch on television, and managing household finance. So these are the so when based on the things given here, deciding what to watch on television, managing household finances, and buying things for the home. So women 43%, 26% is men, and they both together 31%. That's how decisions are made. So what we discussed was mainly for individual customers, and then we look at how businesses or business behavior is defined. The buying behavior of an organization, that buy goods and services for use in the production of other products and services that are sold, rented, or supplied to others. Also included are retailing and wholesaling firms that acquire goods for the purpose of reselling or renting them to others at a profit. So So business buying behavior is a buying behavior organization is, remember, the goods are bought not for personal use, but for the use of production of other products that are sold or supplied to others. But consumer products are bought for personal use, but industrial or the buying, the business buying is buying for the purpose of selling. Right? So buying behavior of organizations that buy goods and services for use in the production of other products and services that are sold, rented, or supplied to others. So it's not for personal use, it's for selling or renting or supplying to others. Sales in the business market far exceed sales in consumer, because sales in the business market may be high volume with high value. Business markets differ from consumer markets in many ways. Marketing structure and demand, nature of buying unit, types of decisions, and the decision process. So there are differences between business markets and consumer markets. So business markets have few larger customers, and consumer markets have large number of few buyers, large number of small buyers or small customers. Business customers are more geographically concentrated. Consumer customers may be not geographically concentrated, they are everywhere. Demand is sufficient, so demand is different. Demand is derived, demand is price inelastic, demand fluctuates more. Demand is derived demand is because business demand is derived, we call it. So derived demand is where your demand is dependent on, the company's demand is dependent on customers' demand. Say more customers demand more products, the derived demand will be high. At the same time, the less customers demand your product, the derived demand will be less. Right? The derived demand is influenced by the demand of the volume of the voluminous of the customer demand. For example, if a particular business buyer wants to buy, say take a supermarket, so if television sales solutions are more demanded by the consumers, the supermarket will buy more and more television from a supplier. Because why they buy more from the supplier? Because they have high demand from the customers for television. That's called derived demand. But at the same time, if there's no demand for electric heaters from the customer, that outlet or that business will have a lesser derived demand, and they will buy less from the suppliers who are supplying electric heaters or water heaters. So in order to satisfy consumer demand or satisfy your customer base, the business demand will increase or decrease. So it is dependent on the consumer demand. And demand is price inelastic. When generally the demand is price inelastic, mean that if there's a derived demand, inelastic price means with the change of price, the volume will not change in the same proportion. Say even the price of a particular product is increased, the change of volume demanded will be less, but will not be in the same proportion of price increase. That means even the price is increased, there will be some volume that can be sold. In such situation is called price inelastic. The percentage change of price is higher than when the price of product is increased. Generally, the demand will be decrease. That's a general principle. But in an inelastic situation, even the price is increased, the demand will not increase in the same proportion. As a result, you will get more revenue, because even at high price, certain amount of volume is still demanded. That concept is called inelasticity. Now, for example, take during countries' annual budgets, price of liquor is increased, but with the increase of price, do you think the volumes comes down in the same proportion? It does not. There will be a little drop in the demand, but not in the same proportion of price increase. Say price has increased by 10%. In that case, the demand also should come down by 10%. It doesn't happen. Maybe price increase 10%, demand drop is only 2%. Such situation is called inelastic. But if the situation is the other way, if the price increase is 10%, the demand has increased. Sorry, demand has dropped by 12%. Such situation is called elastic situation, because the proportionate change in demand is higher than the change in price, higher than the percentage change in the price. I hope you understand the inelastic situation and elastic situation. In a business market, demand fluctuates more. Yeah, depending on the customer requirement, demand can fluctuate. We'll discuss more about elasticity of demand when we talk about the pricing of products. I'll give further explanation on to elasticity of demand. Then comes the nature of buying unit compared to consumer purchases. Involve more buyers in the decision process, more professional purchasing effort. In a family buying unit, the process is very simple. Children initiates, father and mother or both or one person decides, and father will buy or mother will buy, then product will be used. But in a company situation or business situation, there will be more and more evaluation committees, technical committees before buying certain things from the market. It's not a straightforward buy. There are buying committees involved in business buying, and there are more individuals involved in business buying. So these committees involve more people. And industrial buying is more professional. There's no habitual one second. A second. There's something wrong. Yeah. Yes. Then types of decisions and the decision process compared to consumer purchase, more complex buying decisions. The buying process is more formalized. Buyers and sellers work more closely together and build long-term relationships. Yeah, that's what happened in consumer, business buying. And then major types of buying situations: straight rebuy, modified rebuy, new task. What is straight rebuy? Reordering without modification. Requires modified rebuy requires modification to prior purchase, first time purchase. You know, in organizations, say take a bank. What are the things that are straight rebuy? Like printing stationery and things are straight rebuy. Modified rebuy may be certain equipments with little changes, modification, you reorder. And new task, maybe if you are buying a total new computer system, it's a first time purchase and requires more involvement. These are called new task buying. These are three types of buying situations. In a business buying, like family buying, there are 6 parties involved. There are initiators in the business buying, influencers, deciders, buyers, users, and gatekeepers. Let's see some of the roles in business buying process. Initiators, those who request in the product. Say in a certain department, they want a certain application. Users, those who will use the product or service. Influencers, those who influence the buying decision. those who decide and product request and suppliers. Approvers, those authorizing action of buyers. Buyers, those who have authority to select supplier and arrange purchase items. Gatekeepers, those who prevent information from reaching members of the buying center. You know, there are so different roles. If you take a situation where you buy a new computer system, maybe pawning requires a new computer system. So who are the initiators? The people in the pawning department. Users will be the people in the pawning department. Influencers, maybe the pawning, the managers and the branches. They might also influence, will buy a good pawning system. Deciders, maybe technical committees in the operations department, purchase department. Approvers, maybe senior managers of the accounts department. Buyers, again, maybe the procurement division. And gatekeepers, maybe there are certain people who object the buying decisions with blocking some information to prevent information coming from reaching members of the buying center. Maybe there may be some people within the organization who does not support or object purchasing certain purchasing in certain situations. So business, sometimes it can be even some secretaries of some senior officers who don't allow you to reach the particular officers to explain about certain products. When you try to market some products to certain organizations, some secretaries or personal assistants are also known as gatekeepers. So you need to understand different roles played by different people in the organization in a buying situation. Like personal buying, there are factors that affect business buying as well. The environmental, economic trends, supply conditions, and so on, and organizational objectives, policies, and so on. Interpersonal, the influence of members of the buying center, because in these committees you find different personnel, at different personalities are members, and their individual characteristics also can influence the business buying. So like quarterly buying process for consumers, business buying also has a process. It's a problem recognition, general need description, product specification, supply search, proposal solicitation, proposal selection or supply selection, order routing specification, performance review. Say again, if you are looking at a computer system for pawning division, as I said, the current system is not working properly, and the pawning department will say we need this kind of functions, and then technical people will define product specifications for the software requirements, and then they'll start supply search, and the proposals are evaluated and supply is selected, and then the ordering process, and then performance review. Buying on the internet, business buying. E-procurement is growing rapidly. Online auctions and online trading exchanges account for much of the online purchasing activity. E-procurement offers many benefits. You can trade those Right. So then we'll look at the we'll stop at this point. So we are then getting into the second step in the marketing management process. So we have completed the analysis audit part. The question of where are we now? So next week onward, we look at the objectives component. Where do we want to be? So with that, we'll stop today's session, and we'll meet up next week. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's morning or evening. It may be mostly evening session next week.